The harsh winds of Gamma 7 swept across the desolate mining outpost, carrying fine metallic dust that coated everything in a thin gray layer. Una Park stood at the observation deck, her eyes fixed on the distant horizon where the planet's twin moons cast long shadows across the barren landscape. She was different from the typical mining engineer. At 24, Una possessed a calm that unsettled her colleagues. Her hands moved precisely across the holographic control panels, tracking mineral deposits and atmospheric conditions with an almost instinctive understanding. The first warning came as a subtle vibration. Most would have missed it, but Una's fingers froze mid-calculation. Something was approaching. The sensor array began to pulse with an angry red warning, cutting through the usual monotonous beeps of the station's equipment. In the distance, a massive shadow began to block out the stars. The alien warship wasn't just large, it was enormous. Its design defied human engineering principles, with curved surfaces that seemed to shift and breathe like a living organism. Una watched as the ship's outer membrane pulsed with an unnatural green-blue energy. Her communication unit crackled. Outpost Delta, we have an unidentified massive object entering planetary space. Repeat. Unidentified object approaching. Una knew better. This was no unidentified object. This was an invasion. The other engineers around her began to panic. Screens flashed with emergency protocols. Evacuation sirens started their haunting wail. But Una remained still, her mind racing through potential scenarios. The ship didn't approach like a typical invasion craft. It moved with a strange grace, almost like a predator stalking its prey. Precision. Calculation. Purpose. Within moments, smaller craft began to detach from the main vessel. They looked like metallic droplets, each capable of piercing through the planet's defensive shields. Una recognized the technology Vorlon Imperial design, known for their ruthless military tactics. A massive figure emerged from the lead dropship. Dahan, the alien champion, stood nearly 3 meters tall. His exoskeleton wasn't just armor, it was a living weapon. Each movement suggested incredible strength, each gesture a potential deadly strike. The colonists had mere minutes. Some ran. Some froze in terror. Una did neither. She watched, analyzed, calculated. The first wave of alien troops moved with synchronized precision. Their weapons weren't conventional, they were energy-based systems that could disintegrate matter at molecular levels. Buildings began to crumble. Defense systems collapsed within seconds. But Una saw something others didn't. A pattern. A weakness. Her fingers moved across the control panel, not in fear, but with a clinical precision. She was recording everything, every movement, every energy signature, every tactical deployment. While others saw destruction, she saw information. Dahan turned, his helmet-like head scanning the environment. For a moment, his gaze seemed to lock directly with Una's position. She didn't flinch. Most would have seen a monster. She saw a complex biological machine with exploitable vulnerabilities. The mining outpost was more than just a resource extraction point. It was a complex system of interconnected technologies, geological sensors, and environmental monitoring equipment. And Una knew every single detail. As chaos erupted around her, she remained calm. The invasion was happening. But this was just the beginning. Dahan couldn't know it yet, but he had made a critical mistake. He had underestimated the human standing quietly in the observation deck, watching his every move. The first phase of the invasion was complete. But the real battle was just about to begin. Would you like me to continue with the next part or adjust anything in this section? The mining station had become a ghost of its former self. Smoke drifted through broken corridors, and emergency lights cast an eerie red glow across destroyed equipment. Most survivors had hidden or fled, but Una moved with purpose. Her survival kit was simple but strategic. A portable data collector, a multi-tool designed for geological work, and a small emergency beacon. Each item had been carefully selected, not for traditional survival, but for scientific potential. The alien troops moved systematically through the station. Their technological scanners searched for life signs, but Yuna understood something fundamental about detection systems. Every technology had a blind spot. Every scanner had a weakness. She remembered her training on electromagnetic interference. The planet's unique mineral composition created natural signal disruptions. Where most would see a limitation, Yuna saw an opportunity. Using her mining equipment, she began modifying the station's remaining sensors. Her hands moved quickly, recalibrating circuits and rerouting power channels. She wasn't just hiding, she was creating a complex camouflage system. The geological scanning equipment became her primary weapon. By manipulating frequency waves, she could create false heat signatures. To the alien scanners, these would appear like living human targets, drawing their attention away from her actual location. Dehan's troops moved like a machine. Each soldier connected through a complex neural network, sharing information instantaneously. But networks could be confused. Systems could be manipulated. Yuna tracked their movement patterns. She noticed something interesting: their tactical algorithms followed predictable mathematical sequences. Predictability meant vulnerability. Her first small victory came unexpectedly. A modified sensor array sent a false signal, drawing 3 alien soldiers into a section of the station with unstable structural integrity. The floor collapsed, trapping them. She wasn't trying to kill. She was studying. Every interaction provided valuable data about their technological capabilities and limitations. The station's underground storage became her temporary headquarters. Here, surrounded by mining equipment and geological research materials, Yuna felt most comfortable. This was her environment. Her battlefield. Communication was restricted. The aliens had blocked standard communication frequencies. But Yuna understood something about communication that went beyond traditional radio waves. She began using the station's mineral detection equipment to create subtle communication pulses. Low-frequency signals. Barely detectable. But potentially communicable. Her plan wasn't about direct confrontation. It was about understanding. Analyzing. Preparing. Outside, Dehan continued his systematic destruction. He believed complete victory was inevitable. Humans were seen as a minor species, technologically inferior, biologically weak. He would soon learn differently. Yuna checked her modified equipment. A small smile crossed her face. The real game was just beginning. And she was going to play it her way. The aliens thought they were hunting. They didn't realize they were being studied. Every movement. Every technological interaction. Every tactical decision was being carefully documented and analyzed. Survival wasn't just about staying alive. It was about understanding. And in understanding, finding a way to fight back. The red emergency lights continued to pulse. Shadows moved through the damaged corridors. And in the middle of this chaos, a young human engineer prepared her next move. The invasion was far from over. And Yuna Park was just getting started. Would you like me to continue with the next part or make any adjustments to this section? The underground storage area had become Yuna's secret laboratory. Scattered mining equipment, broken communication devices, and geological scanning tools surrounded her makeshift workspace. She worked methodically, her fingers moving with a surgeon's precision. Dehan's troops continued their systematic destruction above ground, believing total victory was moments away. They didn't realize a more dangerous threat was developing right beneath their feet. Yuna understood the planet's unique electromagnetic properties better than anyone. Gamma 7 wasn't just a mining location, it was a complex geological system with extraordinary potential. The minerals here weren't just resources. They were potential weapons. She discovered that the planet's specific mineral composition could create natural electromagnetic disruption fields. By carefully manipulating these minerals, she could create localized energy interference that would completely blind alien technological systems. Her first prototype was crude but promising. Using crushed mineral samples and reconfigured mining equipment, she created a small device capable of generating targeted energy waves. These waves could potentially disable complex alien communication networks. The alien troops moved with machine-like precision. Their neural network allowed instant information sharing. But every network had vulnerabilities. And Yuna was determined to find them. She tracked their movement patterns, studied their communication frequencies, analyzed their tactical algorithms. Each observation was meticulously recorded, each data point carefully considered. The device took shape slowly. Part geological tool, part communication disruptor, it represented something more than just a survival mechanism. It was a testament to human adaptability. Outside, Dahan continued his invasion. Large sections of the mining station had been destroyed. Smoke billowed from damaged structures. The alien champion believed resistance was futile. He was about to be proven wrong. Yuna's modified equipment began to pulse with a subtle energy. The mineral-based disruptor was more than just a defensive tool. It was a precise instrument designed to create controlled chaos. Her first test would be small. A localized communication disruption. Just enough to create confusion without revealing her complete capabilities. The alien troops' neural network suddenly experienced micro-interruptions. Communication signals became momentarily fragmented. For just a few seconds, their perfect tactical coordination became slightly imperfect. Most would consider it a minor glitch. But Yuna saw it as a breakthrough. Each successful test expanded her understanding. Each minute of observation provided critical information about alien technological limitations. The mining station, once a place of resource extraction, had become a complex battlefield. And the most dangerous weapon wasn't a gun or an explosive device. It was knowledge. Dahan would soon learn that humans were far more dangerous than he anticipated. A species capable of turning limitations into strengths. A civilization that could transform basic resources into sophisticated solutions. Yuna continued her work. Calm. Focused. Determined. The invasion was progressing. But the real battle was just beginning. And she was ready. Would you like me to continue with the next part or make any adjustments to this section? The underground mineral caverns stretched like a complex labyrinth beneath the planetary surface. Yuna moved silently, her breathing controlled, her movements calculated. The cavern walls gleamed with exposed mineral deposits, reflecting strange light patterns that seemed to dance with each step. Dahan had tracked her. He knew a human was responsible for the recent disruptions in his invasion plan. What he didn't know was that Yuna had been preparing for this moment since the first alien dropship landed. The cavern's geological structure was her ultimate weapon. Years of mining research had taught her every potential energy channel, every structural weakness. Where others saw rock, she saw a complex system of potential energy pathways. Her modified mining equipment hung carefully from her tactical belt. Each device looked ordinary, something a standard geological engineer might carry. But Yuna had transformed them into precise instruments of potential destruction. Dahan's massive frame moved through the cavern entrance. His exoskeleton reflected the mineral's soft luminescence, making him appear more machine than living creature. Each step created small tremors that echoed through the underground network. He believed her to be insignificant. A small human engineer trapped in an impossible situation. His tactical algorithms suggested multiple elimination strategies. Quick. Efficient. Emotionless. But Yuna had been studying him. Every movement. Every potential attack pattern. She understood something fundamental about complex systems: predictability was the greatest weakness. The cavern wasn't just a battlefield. It was a carefully prepared trap. Specific mineral deposits had been subtly repositioned. Communication frequencies had been manipulated. Energy channels had been strategically redirected. What appeared to be a natural underground environment was actually a complex defensive landscape. Dahan's first attack came swiftly. Energy weapons designed to disintegrate matter fired with incredible precision. But the cavern's unique mineral composition absorbed and redirected the energy. Yuna remained perfectly still. Watching. Calculating. Her modified geological scanner began to pulse. Subtle frequencies started to interact with the cavern's natural energy channels. What seemed like random mineral deposits began to respond to her carefully prepared frequencies. The battle wasn't about physical strength. It was about understanding complex systems. Dahan realized something was wrong. His tactical systems began experiencing unexpected interference. Communication networks started fragmenting. His perfect invasion algorithm was being systematically dismantled. By a human. By her. Each step he took triggered carefully prepared responses. Mineral deposits that seemed random began to create natural barriers. Energy redirections created unexpected obstacles. What appeared to be a straightforward confrontation became a complex technological chess match. Yuna didn't move like a traditional fighter. She moved like a scientist. Each action was a calculated response. Each moment was an opportunity to understand and manipulate. The cavern began to change. Not through physical destruction, but through complex energy redistribution. Dahan's technological superiority was being systematically neutralized by a deeper understanding of natural systems. For the first time, the alien champion experienced something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. Humans were supposed to be weak. Technologically inferior. Easy to eliminate. But Yuna was rewriting that understanding with every calculated moment. The confrontation wasn't just a battle. It was a statement about human potential. Adaptation. Intelligence. Strategic thinking. These were humanity's true weapons. And Dahan was about to experience them firsthand. Would you like me to continue with the final part or make any adjustments to this section? The moment stretched like an elastic band, ready to snap. Dahan's massive form seemed frozen, his technological systems experiencing complete breakdown. Yuna stood perfectly still, her heart racing beneath a calm exterior. Mineral channels beneath the cavern floor began to pulse with unexpected energy. What appeared random was actually a carefully orchestrated system of natural geological responses. Yuna had transformed the entire planetary environment into a complex defensive mechanism. Dahan's exoskeleton started malfunctioning. Communication networks collapsed. His neural systems, once considered invincible, now flickered like dying electronic signals. Each movement became increasingly difficult, as if the very planet was rejecting his presence. The alien champion represented centuries of advanced technological warfare. Entire civilizations had fallen before his species. Technological superiority was their ultimate weapon. Predictable. Ruthless. Efficient. But they had never encountered a human like Yuna. Her modifications weren't just defensive. They were transformative. By understanding the planet's complex geological infrastructure, she had created a living, adaptive defense system. The minerals responded to her specific frequency patterns, creating natural barriers and energy redirections. Dahan's first critical error was underestimating human adaptability. Where his systems demanded rigid protocols, humans invented solutions. Where his technology followed strict mathematical algorithms, human creativity found unexpected pathways. The cavern walls seemed to breathe. Mineral deposits shifted subtly. Energy channels redirected with mathematical precision. What appeared chaotic was actually a carefully designed response system. Yuna's geological scanner continued its subtle pulse. Each frequency was a calculated message, each energy wave a strategic communication. She wasn't just defending. She was communicating with the planet's natural systems. Minutes passed. Dahan's technological superiority crumbled. His massive frame, once a symbol of absolute power, now seemed vulnerable. Each movement became increasingly restricted, as if the planetary environment itself was rejecting his invasion. Human potential wasn't about physical strength. It was about understanding, adaptation, creative problem solving. The final moments came unexpectedly. A complex mineral channel redirected a massive energy surge directly through Dehan's communication network. His exoskeleton, once impenetrable, now became a complex technological prison. He fell. Not dramatically. Not with explosion. But with a soft, almost gentle technological surrender. Yuna watched carefully. Her victory wasn't about destruction. It was about understanding. Demonstrating that technological superiority meant nothing against genuine intelligence and adaptability. The mining station above began to restore itself. Communication systems flickered back to life. Surviving colonists emerged from hidden shelters, witnessing the aftermath of an impossible victory. Dehan represented an advanced civilization that had conquered countless worlds. Believed in their absolute technological supremacy. Considered humans a minor, insignificant species. They would learn differently. One small victory. But a message sent across the galaxy. Humans were not to be underestimated. The planetary dust settled. Mineral channels returned to their natural state. And Yuna Park stood silently, having transformed an impossible situation into an unexpected triumph. Humanity's true strength wasn't in weapons. It was in understanding. In adaptability. In the ability to transform challenges into opportunities. The invasion was over. But the real story was just beginning. Would you like me to make any adjustments to this final part of the story?